Essential spices for Indian cooking. Spices are the foundation for Indian cooking. They can transform any dish into a tasty meal and give life to even the simplest ingredients. Since this is the last video on basic Indian cooking, so I thought to share the basic spices requirement, and this quick video with a list of spices and their uses will be useful to everyone. If you have followed my recipes in this series, then you have probably noticed that I pretty much used few common spices every time. So let's start it. So the first essential spice is cumin. In Hindi we called it jeera. An essential ingredient in Indian cooking, cumin adds nutty, warm flavors and dimension to the countless dishes. Whole cumin seeds can be added to tadka and roasted, and ground cumin is a great for adding later in the cooking process. Cumin adds an earthy tone and body to soups, dals and curries. You can also add a pinch of ground cumin to plain yogurt for a nutrient and flavor boost. Now the next spice is coriander. We called it dhania. This versatile spice has a hint of citrus and adds earthy notes from northern Indian dishes to South Indian recipes. The whole seeds are lightly toasted and then ground with other spices for several popular spice blends. Ground coriander is popular because it adds texture to dishes and can be tasted with each bite. Coriander is often paired with cumin for just the right flavors of earthiness. Black mustard seeds, we called it rai also. These pungent nutty seeds adds flavor to many dishes, from curries to chutneys to pickles to salads. Drop them in hot oil and wait for them to crackle and pop to release their flavor. Next is ground turmeric, haldi. Ground turmeric is a bright healing spice that adds a peppery woody taste and a deep golden color to curries. It is known for its anti-inflammatory properties and goes into everything from drinks to curries to stir-fry vegetables, and it is even used for face mask. Kashmiri red chili powder or sukhi lal mirch. Although there are many kinds of dry red chilies used in Indian cuisine, but I prefer mild Kashmiri red chili, both whole and ground, which has a brilliant red color that adds natural food coloring and smoky flavor. When substituting other chilies for Kashmiri red chilies, be mindful of the heat level. Black peppercorns or kali mirch. These berries, which grow on climbing vines, are native to southern part of India. The unripe green berries are harvested when they ripen and turn red and are then tried to what we commonly see in grocery stores. Black peppercorns, added whole or ground, impart intense aroma, depth and heat to foods. This integral spice is used in seasoning blends such as garam masala and is a must-have in your pantry. Green cardamom pods or elaichi. Elaichi is a sweet and aromatic spice, is a must-have for Indian dessert, and is equally critical for curries and pulaus. When using the whole pod, it should be removed before consuming the dish. And for desserts, discard the outer pod and use a mortar and pestle to grind the seeds into a coarse powder and then use it. Next is cassia bark or dalchini. Cassia bark with its delicately sweet flavor is similar to cinnamon sticks. It adds earthy flavors to meat and curries and is essential in making spice blends. Cassia bark is also used in Indian cooking to add a layer of intensity to tea and hot chocolate. Cloves or long. These aromatic flower buds are harvested from the evergreen clove tree. They lend a slightly sweet yet pungent aroma to Indian cuisine. You will often find cloves paired with cinnamon and black pepper for a perfect spice blend. Fenugreek seeds or methi dana. Small mustard yellow seeds usually dry roasted or fried in oil or ghee in a tadka to reduce the bitterness. This bittersweet spice has an undertone of maple syrup and works really well with coriander, cumin and red chili powder. Try adding just a small amount of fenugreek seeds to your tadka for lentils and fish curries that also use tangy tamarind. Indian bay leaves or Tej Patta. Tej Patta, which translates to pungent leaves, are Indian bay leaves that originate on the southern slopes of the Himalayas. They are an integral ingredient in many North Indian dishes and are very different from European bay leaves. These olive green leaves are larger with three veins running through them and have a milder aroma, similar to that of cinnamon bark. Next is fennel seeds or sauf. These sweet flavored morsels used for cooking, especially in Kashmir and southern part of India, and also these are used as an after dinner digestive. Dried fenugreek leaves or kasuri methi. This fragrant dried herb has a slightly bitter taste but adds complex sweetness and that restaurant style flavor to curries. Just before adding the leaves to a dish, crush them between the palms of your hands to release the aromatics. They can also be used as a garnish in North Indian curries. There is no substitute for these leaves. You can skip them in a pinch but never replace them with whole or ground fenugreek seeds, which have a different flavor profile altogether. Saffron or kesar, a must-have spice for Indian desserts. Saffron, a crimson stigma from the saffron crocus, must be hand-picked. Grown in the Kashmir Valley, it takes hundreds of thousands of stigma to produce a pound of saffron, making it the most expensive spice in the world. Saffron adds an intense aroma, a floral flavor, and a gorgeous golden color to curries, biryanis, and desserts. Last spice is garam masala. Literally translates to warm spice mix, and it is the quintessential Indian spice blend. It gives warmth and depth to dishes and pairs perfectly with red or green chili for a aromatic flavor. Every region across India has its own version. My garam masala recipe has 21 whole roasted spices, and some of which can be very hard to find in Canada and US. So I came with this simplified 5 ingredient garam masala recipe with similar authentic flavor, which includes coriander, cumin, cloves, cassia bark and green cardamom. Ground spices lose their flavor more quickly than whole spices, so it's a good idea to get whole spices in larger quantity and then make ground spices or spice blends in smaller quantities. Usually ground spices stay good for 4 to 6 months and whole spices be good for a year. Hope you find this essential Indian spice guide useful. Please share your thoughts and comments with me and don't forget to subscribe this channel.